How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the Bochum Career Mode. This is episode number 34, and we get into today's video with some player training and also some player conversations. Viktor Olkowski is not happy with the amount of game time he's getting, which I find a little bit unusual, considering he's 18 and he's getting plenty of game time, in my opinion, for an 18-year-old. And Thomas Kraft is actually happy with his game time. So, you know, you get some good and you get some bad with these player conversations sometimes. We actually rewarded Thomas Kraft with a rest in this game against Werder Bremen in the Cup, just because it's not a priority, and I just thought I'd give some players a go in some different positions, and we went straight back to basics. We went to 4-4-2. We needed a win, and I just wanted to just try and get a win. I wasn't that bothered if we didn't, but we just wanted a performance, basically. So that was my plan in this game. We started a lot of different players, rotating some, brought in some old players. You know, Robert Tescher came in. We tried out Römling in centre-back, who had a fantastic game. And just some younger youth players, Albert and also Schaefer in centre-mid. So it was an interesting team that we sort of lined up with, and I'm not sure if Werder Bremen was starting with a rotated side. It looked pretty strong to me with Pavlenka in goal, and actually it was a little bit end-to-end to start off with. They had the first chance, then we had another chance, and then they also had another chance towards the end of the first half as Gruev gets past our back four there, and if it wasn't for some fantastic last minute off the line defending from Römling, we would have been 1-0 down going into half time. Luckily for us, we would start off the second half a little bit better as Musa Kone there putting in some great tackles. That's what you want to see from the team, just going in, just going all in, getting the ball no matter what. He put in good 2 tackles there, one after another, which was quite nice to see. And then he actually set up Promel for the first goal of the game with an absolutely fantastic strike coming in off the underside of the bar. And actually, I did bring Promel on for Schaefer, who was just a little bit tired coming in at half-time. He hasn't really got the stamina to play in that sort of centre-mid who's going back and forth with the box-to-box role. So I had to bring off at half-time and actually brought on Promel, and he was actually fantastic. He really, really made a difference. You can see here getting in with the action again, and if his finishing had been a little better, he might have had a brace in this game. Luckily for us, though, that would pretty much be the end of the game. It doesn't matter if we missed a couple of chances. Reese would have the final chance. He puts the ball into Musa Kone, and actually, if I'm being honest, he should have probably at least had a little bit better effort there, but doesn't matter. We managed to get a decent result against Werder Bremen. They are in and around sort of our area of the table in the Bundesliga, so the fact that we beat them not comfortably, but we beat them quite well, I think we put in a decent performance with some of our weaker players as well. I'm actually quite happy with that result, and actually, if you look at the team, it really did make a difference. I think the 4-4-2 is possibly the way we're going to line up with over the next few games. I did try going back to the 4-3-3 in the next game, which was up against Mainz, so they were just below us in the table. They hadn't won all season, and my idea of this was to go back to a 4-3-3, see if we could somehow get this to work again, because that's the formation I wanted to play at the start of the season. I wasn't wanting to just drop it just because we had one decent game. So I went back to the 4-3-3 just to see how we'd perform. And you can see mine's actually a very decent team. The main man up top, Kouame, is definitely a very good player, linked with a lot of European clubs in real life. So it'll be interesting to see where he moves, if he moves in January. You can see here, to start the game off in the 4th minute, Gonvula with an overhead kick. A little bit ambitious, but if it wasn't for some, I'd say, luck from the Mainz defence, it might have actually been going in the back of the net as it came off the back of the defenders. It came off the back of the defender, meaning it didn't go in. This game was really fun to play, possibly one of my favourites to play of the whole series. It was just so end-to-end. We've obviously already faced Mainz in this series, playing them in the Cup. They actually knocked us out, so we were a little bit worried going into this, as our history against Mainz in the series had been a little bit shaky. Luckily for us, we would get probably the best chance of the game as Olkowski puts through Gonvula, and he turns the man here. Just fantastic bit of play, and sadly for us, Horvath would go ahead and make a decent save there. As I said, that was probably the best chance of the first half, really. Up until that point, we'd not played particularly well on the counter-attack, but we had been relying on sort of countering them, as they pretty much put all of their men forward in every attack they went for. And sadly for them, just towards the end of the first half, it would prove crucial to us that they'd have committed too many men forward. They were all unorganised at the back, and that worked out perfectly for us as Ajaria plays in Gonvula, and just before, literally the last kick of the game it was, Gonvula goes ahead and scores a tap-in pretty much, as Mainz had absolutely no chance of stopping that. Gonvula nets his 5th goal of the Bundesliga season. Fun fact to note about Gonvula, he is getting close, and I'd hope that he might get close to Bochum's all-time record goal scorer. But when he gets close to that in time, he's still a good 20-30 goals off, I believe. So when we get close to that, I'll talk about that a bit more. Sadly for us, in the second half, we didn't start off particularly well, because clearly the Mainz manager had said something to them that made them just instantly go out there and just try and get a goal back, and it worked. It clearly worked, because from kickoff, Kouame was luckily put through by Prommel. It was a decent tackle, but unlucky for us, it would get played through to Kouame, and he goes ahead and nets his 3rd goal of the Bundesliga season, meaning that Mainz drew level with us just as the first half started, really. So a little bit disappointing, and if I'm being honest, for the next 20 minutes or so, it was very cagey, and this was probably the only chance that started off the slow decline of the defences in this game. You'll actually see that there's a few more chances now towards the end of the game. A very nice chance there from Gonvula, and from the following goal kick, we just weren't organised. Maybe we just fell asleep a little bit here, and Campbell eventually works the ball into Abbas, who's running through, and he probably should have scored that, to be honest. That was a very good chance for Mainz to try and steal away the 3 points in this game. And actually, it was a little bit sinful here from the centre-back for Mainz, as Hansen, our young lad, the left winger, who I'm trying to convert into more of a striker, goes ahead and takes out our young lad, and he is sent off for that really sinful tackle, if I'm being honest. He was the last man, and Hansen was through on goal. It was probably a hat to make the tackle in terms of the Mainz team, but for us, I was quite angry. I'd imagine on the touchline, I was shouting at the 4th official. Very, very displeased with that, and we didn't actually get anything from the free kick. Came very close with Olkowski, and we then came extremely close, hitting the crossbar with Janczk, as he just hits the bar, and sadly from the corner we don't score. That is how the game ended. If I'm being honest, when we look at the match facts, it was probably a reasonable result. 10 shots to our 7. Shots on target doesn't always matter, because we hit the bar a couple of times. So overall, I'm actually quite happy with that. It does look bad, because Mainz haven't won all season. They are sitting rock bottom of the Bundesliga, but if I'm being honest, we could have quite easily lost that. We could have quite easily won it if we'd have taken our chances, but I'd rather draw and get the 1 point than to lose 3 points and have Mainz catch up to us a little bit sooner on in the season than we'd hoping to. So it's not a loss. We'll take it. We're now unbeaten in 2 games, which is looking pretty positive. However, it wasn't looking so positive, as the next game we're going into was up against pretty much our biggest rivals, I think, in the game. It is Borussia Dortmund. We did head to the Signal Iduna Park. You can see here in the press conference, the press were not so confident that we were going to be able to get anything from this game. And yeah, to be honest, I was just expecting a respectable loss, or just a respectable draw. That was my main aim going into it. Try not to concede in the first half, and just sort of defend for the next 45 minutes in the second half, and just hope we don't concede too many chances. If I'm being honest, that Dortmund team is pretty mental. Luis Suarez leading the line, and a lot of decent players. You've got Ryan Fraser on the left-hand side. Obviously, Jadon Sancho hasn't moved for 3 seasons. I'm pretty sure he's close to the 89, 90 rated player that he could be. We didn't start off particularly well. A little bit of a mistake there. We can't really be affording to make those sorts of mistakes against Dortmund. Luckily for us, Leitch was on hand to quickly slide in and get the ball off Suarez. And again, another bit of poor defending. Apart from that, Dortmund were quite quiet. That was the only shot they had of the whole first half, and I'm actually really proud of how we defended. We didn't let them have too many chances. We sort of didn't let them have a lot of possession either. It was a lot of just us passing it around and hoping to get just the odd counter-attack or something if they made a mistake. You can see there in the second half, the first chance came to us, and honestly, Berkey was fantastic in that instance. What a save from the Swiss international. And actually, Musa Kone came very close there as well, just going wide of the post. And I think that was a bit of a wake-up call for Dortmund. 2 chances for us in the second half. They started to really turn on the quality. And as Jadon Sancho wins the ball back off Munoz, who did manage to outmuscle him, he does go ahead and play it in. And, well, what a save that was from Thomas Kraft. He had a fantastic 20-25 minutes towards the end. Absolutely sensational for Thomas Kraft. Honestly, like I can't sing him praises enough. This was a really challenging game towards the end, and Suarez, oh my God, we just couldn't. I had to pause the game at this point. We just couldn't stop them from attacking. It was minute after minute, relentless, just constant pressure. Julian Brandt coming close with really another great save from Thomas Kraft, and Julian Brandt again just holding the ball up really nicely. Eventually, he does play it into Ryan Fraser over the top. Just nobody on him. He's completely out of stamina. He manages to get a nice cross in, and another good last-ditch save from Thomas Kraft. And actually, from this, we do go ahead and get a little counter-attack as Musa Kone on the ball puts it into Gonvula, and, well, that touch just took Akanji out of the game. Gonvula's got the pace to beat him, and what does he do? He puts it top bins. Honestly, this was the one game of the season I think we had to at least try and win. And Silver Gonvula puts it top corner and ensures, hopefully, that we did go home with the 3 points from the Signal Iduna Park. I'm not sure when the last time Dortmund lost to Bochum at home, but I'd imagine it's been a very long time. I might put it in here if I remember to put it in editing, but my God, I was actually I'm still smiling now. I was so happy we managed to get a last-minute winner. Genuinely, possibly one of the best moments of the season so far. This has been a pretty decent episode, I have to admit. A nice win against Werder Bremen, a decent draw against Mainz, and a win against our biggest rivals. You can't say fairer than that. And if I'm being honest, maybe this is the start to a little bit of a better season. I'm not suggesting we're going to beat every team this year in the league, but it's looking a little bit more positive. We're definitely playing with much more confidence. And if I have to be honest, it's looking a little bit brighter at the bottom half of the table. 2 wins from 11 is not that great, but at least it's 2 wins as opposed to being 1 or 0. That's going to be the end of the episode, though. I do hope you enjoyed watching it. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to subscribe for more career mode content. And I will see you for the next episode of the Bochum career mode very soon. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.